Hey everyone, welcome to episode 5 of the 12-minute AI game development challenge. It is Valentine's Day week. Now in the past, for my then girlfriend, then fiance and now wife, what I really enjoyed doing was building games for her to play. So in addition to your cards, your flowers and your chocolates or candy, why not build a game for your significant other? Now with the power of AI tools, it's easier than ever before. Initially, I was thinking about whether to use Cursor, but then I saw a comment asking for more Copilot agent mode stuff. So thanks very much CatDevSH01. Rather than choosing between one or the other, we'll be using both Cursor Composer as well as GitHub Copilot agent mode to build today's game. We'll have Copilot as well as Cursor side by side. We'll see which one is able to build a more fun game. Are you ready? Let's go. So what I'm going to do first of all is just walk through the starting code and project that both agents will be working from. On the right, you can see it's just a very typical scene. It's just a spinning cube and a plane on the floor, and it has a UI element that shows the rotation. But what I've also done this time is that I've created an asset scene that has assets that it should take advantage of, and I'm going to put it in the prompt as well. The idea is that it has something to work off from, and we'll see. So there's clouds, there's trees, there's even a player character. And in terms of how I've tried to do things uniformly, so in Cursor, I've stripped down cursor rules a little bit more. So it just has some very general advice on what to do when proposing changes, take an iterative approach, and coding style, and just the folder structure. I do have 2 project rules around how to not use relative imports and to not make modifications to the core folder. And the way that I've done this for GitHub is put it into Copilot instructions. So you can see this is exactly the same, but I've had to put the project rules at the bottom. So that's how I've tried to make both Copilot and Cursor have the same kind of system prompt instructions. In terms of the code base, very quickly, I actually have a concept that I generated in Midjourney. So this is what I use to actually create some of the starter assets as well. I didn't record myself building it, as you can see, but you can see how this scene here is very inspired by it. Very good result actually. I just prompted it to create asset space on this concept art. So maybe I'll save it for a different video of how this process turned out. So that was the concept. What I'm doing is that the game design, I made it very, very simple. A game where 2 people compete to get the most number of hearts that fall from the sky in a limited time. 3-dimensional, hearts fall from the sky, trees serve as obstacles, and rocks fall from the sky and reduce hearts. WASD for player 1 and arrows for player 2. And then just very simple, just a main menu and a pause menu. So hopefully that's a good introduction to what the challenge is going to be like. I'm going to use the same prompts for both, and we'll see how they each fare. Okay, so we're ready to go. On the left, Control I. On the right, Control Shift I. On the left, make sure we are in agent mode here. On the right, make sure we are in agent mode here. And I'm going to use the same prompt for both of them. So on the left hand side, the goal is to implement the game based on the game design in game design. Take into account the technical design. Build the game within game.ts and stay within it. You can try to use the asset scene stuff. And here's the concept art for inspiration. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Make sure we're in agent mode. Almost missed that there. Create based on the game design and game design. Take into account technical design. Stay within game.ts. Try to use the asset scene and use the concept for. Okay, so just double check everything. That looks good. That looks good. Reset the timer. Don't forget to record. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Go here and go there. Alright, so here we go again. So I've done this a few times now, but sometimes I hit the snag. It was one time I didn't record. Another time it was messing with files in the wrong location, so I'm really hoping that we get a good run. So the implementation plan here is going to do basic game setup and it's using the existing stuff, which is great. It's going to do basic game setup, and I'm going to tell it to go first. Go, almost forgot, and I'm going to tell it to go here as well. So On the left-hand side, let's take a look. So it's going to do basic game setup, core game mechanics, game flow, and the polish. And so it seems that by the time it reaches phase 2, it would have most of the gameplay done, which is great. And I'll check what it says here on the right. On the right, it says it's going to do core game setup, and then create the systems and then the scene, and then it would do it in yeah. So from what I can see, it's fairly similar, right? It's going to do the scene setup and then the objects polish and then menu system, and cursor will do something I think fairly similar, just articulated differently, which is nice to see. So in my previous experiments and my previous videos, what I see is that cursor tends to go, incrementally, and they have the same prompts this time, but cursor tends to still move things incrementally. So 0 to 20, 0, and then 20 to 40 and 60. Whereas Copilot really likes to go from like 0 to 50, especially for the initial one, or even something 0 to 70. End result's really good, but it leaves you with bated breath most of the time. So I'm going to close these things so that we have a bit more real estate to see the both composer and edit window going. I'm hopeful that we'll get to see stuff on screen pretty soon. Usually about the 3-4 minute mark, that's when the scenes get updated. Game.ts is usually the big one that we'll see the most amount of changes. Sorry, Game.ts is the one where once changes get finished there, that's usually when we get to see things on screen. But let's quickly see where we are. Oh, and there's one time I clicked done in my run, and I basically couldn't continue because like we were at phase 2 of implementation, and it basically just didn't have. I couldn't continue because it lost its context. Oh, fantastic! So Cursor has managed to make use of the assets that I gave it, and it's got the players on screen, 2 players on screen, the trees, so and the clouds as well. So fantastic! It's actually managed to use the assets that I gave it. So Cursor is telling me that it's actually ready to go, including player movement. So I'm going to accept everything and I'm going to test player movement. So let's see. Oh, player movement is working. Very good. Boundary constraints, decorative clouds. Okay, let's go. Proceed with the heart collection system. So I'm going to say proceed. So far, Cursor is doing well. It's managed to get to the instructions fairly well. Let's see, do the trees block? Okay, the trees are not colliding, but that's not the end of the world. So Cursor is in the lead with just about a quarter of the way through. A quarter? Yeah, a quarter. No, a third. 4 minutes out of 12 minutes is a third. Math is not the greatest, especially not under pressure. Yeah, that's just an excuse. Okay, so I think Cursor is going to go into the heart mechanics. Okay, so good news. Copilot says it's actually ready for us to test the game. So let's try it. And I don't see anything on screen. Let me check asset screen. Sometimes that's what happens. Nope. Okay, so there's usually a bug, and let's hope we can fix it with this. Okay, so mesh.getMesh is not function. Okay, so I'm going to say fix this first. Fix bug. Okay, so oftentimes what I see is that Copilot, gets a lot of stuff done, and then it's just like one small bug just basically prevents it from rendering on screen. So don't count it out just yet. But Cursor is definitely in the lead right now with what it has on screen. But let's see where Copilot is able to get to. I'm really hopeful once it fixes the bug, it'll also have something to do that we can review on screen. I'm just going to look through a little bit of what the thinking behind Copilot is. It says it's going to use the existing assets, which is going to be good. Okay, and I can see that Cursor says we're ready to test the next one. So it should see heart spawnings, heart movement, and collection system. So I'm going to accept everything, and let's switch back. Let's see if that's true. Okay, so oh yeah, it does. I can see heart spawning. It's a little bit small, but it's definitely working. And the camera UI is blocking the point system, but that's fine. And I can't pick it up. It's like stuck in mid-air, but that's okay. So I think it is kind of working. But I noticed that when it touches the hearts, the hearts don't disappear. So let's see. Let's just test this one. I'm gonna pick this one up. Oh, no. What happened? My camera just broke. Okay, we'll test that out shortly. I'm gonna set changes. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so Copilot has got movement as well, but cursor is definitely further along. So hearts disappear. It doesn't disappear. So I'll say hearts not disappearing on cursor. It's a small thing to fix. But let's see. Would you like to test the game? Verify. It doesn't tell me what I'm supposed to verify. So I say proceed with the heart spawning. Okay, let's go. Oh, I actually messed the timer up. Okay, so 5 minutes left to go. I accidentally scrolled past the timer, which is a shame. So let's take a look at where we are with Copilot. Copilot actually didn't use the assets. Strangely, it decided to use it decided to create its own players, which is interesting. Whereas on this side, cursor's one is working pretty well. I can see player 1 getting scores, but not player 2, and I'm wondering why. Okay, I do see player 2 also collecting scores. It seems that I need to make sure to be below the hearts in order for the scores to count, because they're not disappearing. So, so I think like the basic mechanics are there. At least it took the instruction to have the clouds and the trees, but yeah. So let's see whether Copilot has made forward progress at this stage. Let me just see. Heart spawning system is doing the heart spawning. So let's see if we can get to the heart spawning as well. Okay, so cursor says that it should have fixed the bugs, and it should have removed the okay, let's see. Okay, so at least the hearts are disappearing now, and I think that the collection is working. So you have to collect it before it hits the ground. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So I'll say yes, proceed. That's okay. I just wanted to get to the timer, which is the core part of the game mechanics. We've got about a third more to go, 4 minutes left. Cursor is in the lead, just in terms of that, but don't count Copilot out. It kind of has, got the memo in terms of the character controls, and the game freezes after a couple of seconds. I know when this happens, it tends to be because it tries to generate hearts after 2 seconds, and then a bug causes it to freeze. So nothing to worry too much there. I'm going to try to get better at this game while we're at it. So let's see. Maybe it's easier to play like that. So player 2, player 3, player. Okay, let's use player 2. Let's see if I can collect a heart. Oh, I got it. Yeah, I did get it. Oh, yeah. Okay, so game mechanics are actually working, correctly. It's a bit hard visually and gameplay wise, so I suppose that's where polish comes in. I really wish I could get rid of the cube rotation because it's blocking player 1's score, but that's okay. Okay, 3 minutes left. Come on, Copilot. Let's see if you can get to the heart system as well. Like I said, never count Copilot out. Sometimes, oh, okay, it's already got a scoring system in, but the heart system is causing a problem. I can see this, yeah, so I can see the scoring system, whereas cursor is saying, okay, so cursor says it's finished with phase 3, and Copilot says it's finished with phase 2. So let's actually test it out. I suspect the heart system is going to fail, so I'm gonna just let it fix bug on Copilot side, and on this side we are going to verify that there's a timer. Okay, so there is 60 seconds timer. Let's try to pick up some hearts, and let's get a clear winner. So let's oh, player 2 is here. Oh, okay, so player 1 should win based on the score. He's got 2 points. Great. Okay, so we're gonna let the time run out to see if it gets the end result correctly. But so far, it's got the memo and it's done it well. So I think we can say proceed with proceed. So phase 4 So I asked cursor to proceed because I think it's going to work. We give it another 15 seconds to see if the game over works, but I would say it's almost feature complete. Copilot, on the other hand, has a bug on the heart spawning, I'm pretty sure. So once it fixes this, I'm hoping that we will start to see a similar result in both games. So okay, so player 1 wins because he has 3 hearts. So I think Cursor has implemented the full game and it should do the polish now. So that'll be really interesting to see. And on Copilot side, I think it's still got, oh good, okay, so it's got gigantic hearts. Look at this. Oh, okay. Is the point system working? So the point system it's hard to tell because I can't catch the. Okay, so this is definitely working now. Not exactly to style, but hey, you know, like who am I to tell AI how to design a game? So okay, so the hearts are fine. It's adding sound effects. I'm going to tell it no sound effects. More polished hearts and visuals. Okay, so accept. Let me just double check that it's all working on Copilot's version. Points, no sound effects. I would say the score should increment when the hearts are collected. I can't seem to collect the hearts. And maybe it's just me being bad at the game, but can I get to it? Can I get to it in time? No. Oh, 12 minutes is up. I'm going to let them run to completion, and then we can see what we can do here. But yeah, hopefully it's quite clear where they've both managed to get to. I'm going to let Cursor finish up to where it needs to get to, even though it's actually in a really good state already. It's got the main game mechanics, the scoring works, the game loop works, and the winner and everything works. And it actually used the assets, which is pretty cool. Whereas on Copilot side, they actually got the game mechanics correct. I always don't know why it makes the hearts upside down, and it's got this nice bounce as well. But the scoring doesn't seem to be working from as far as I can tell. It could be because I'm really bad at the game. But yeah, that's as good as. So to be fair, this is one of the better runs where, you know, I get to a situation where I can see both side by side. And what we'll do is we'll just let this run. I'm going to let this run and then take stock, and then we can take a deeper dive. Okay, so let's take stock of both games now. We've got the game by Copilot and the game by Cursor here, and we're just going to take a look and do a bit of a game review, and maybe if we have time, it would be interesting to do a code review as well. Let's start off with the first game. Let's start off with Cursor's game. Let's just play through it. So at first glance, it's pretty good. It actually matches the style that we were looking for, and yep, and the mechanics is correct. I'm going to get rid of the rotation, cube rotation. So I say, let me just cube rotation UI in game.ts. Just get that one done first. I'm going to do the same thing for what is that? Let's see. Let's do the same thing for this guy. Remove cube rotation UI from game. Oops. Game.ts. Game.ts. Okay, so let's see if that does it. I'll swap back to Cursor. And while that's happening, yeah, so I think Cursor's got the game pretty much in a good state. It's got the trees in the background, which is nice. So it means if I play it from the front view, there's a nice kind of, and you can see there's particle effects as well. So let me try to catch one of these ones here. Oh, do you see the particle effect? Yep. So it did manage to get to some polish. The scoring is working, so I'm playing as player 1. Oh, picked up another one, and it's great. I would say Cursor's game got the design well. It's got the timer in the top right hand corner, so 24 seconds left. It's got 2 players as well, so you can play with the arrow keys. All in all, really good end result from Cursor. And I'm just going to set this one first. Let's see if we manage to remove it now. Yeah, so I did remove the cube rotation UI. I added the clouds to the top. I think it would have been nice if there was some animation, but it never got to that level of polish and the time limit. That's it for the Cursor one. And we can do a code review after this, but let's check out the game from Copilot, which I'm going to pull up here. Let's see if we manage to remove. Okay, so it didn't manage to remove the cube rotation when I told it to, and maybe it's not critical now, but let's just take a look at the game. It's got quite similar, 2 players. It's got hearts falling, heavy hearts. They're upside down. I don't know why they always build the hearts upside down when I'm using 3JS. I think, was it the same thing? No, actually, it got it right in the cursor one. But in the asset scene, it was also initially on the wrong side. So it got to a fairly decent state. The collisions aren't working, and it didn't use the assets that I told it to use. And let's just see. Let's just scroll all the way up to the beginning of this, and it says here, I'll help create a high-level implementation based on the technical and existing assets. So it said that it would do it here, but it never actually used it, which is really interesting. And so without the rest of the mechanics, it's hard to tell. There's no timer and there's no game over screen. I think not as good an end result. And I'm just going to look back here at cursors one, because I want to see what the difference was in terms of yeah. So let's see. Let's see that. Okay, so it didn't. I'm looking at cursor now. It does say use existing tree prefab, use hard prefab builder for hearts. So it seemed to take advantage of the existing code a lot better than say the Copilot one did. So it's quite interesting why it didn't do that, and if there was a better way for just double checking. Yeah, I definitely did specify it here to use the asset scene. Didn't really read the file concept, which I don't know why. I don't know when I missed it, and I don't know whether that would have made much of a difference. Okay, so maybe time for a bit of a code review. So maybe let's do Copilot's one first. Just do a big I'm just gonna, if I close this, will it close it? Hide secondary bar, Control Shift B. No, what is it? Control Alternate B. Okay, so I can get it back later. Okay, that's cool. Let's get rid of this. Okay, let's take a bit of a look at what's changed. So the way we can do that is, I suppose, just do a git reset hit as one, and that should show us what's changed. Okay, so what's changed here? Oh, I guess this one. Maybe if I do it this way. No. Okay. Anyway, what's changed is that it added a couple of new files here. It modified the game UI component. So let's take a look. So it did some scoring, so that's why we saw that. It added a few new types. It added a game state. Interesting. It added a game state here. I really should adjust the zoom for this one. Just bear with me. Just do 1.5. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. So it added this, and then it added a player component, and use player controls. It created a type for player controls, and this, and it did create a hard prefab and player prefab, which is in line with the design, and it did modify the game scene and adhered to the structure that was there. So all in all, from a code standpoint, pretty good. And it modified the game UI system to add the scores. That's nice. And it created a heart spawner, heart physics system. So you actually added physics, which is why we see this bounciness here. And then the player movement system. That's really interesting and very neat code ultimately, but the functionality just wasn't quite there. And so I think that's the code review. That's the code review. Very simple code review of Copilot's one. Now let's switch to cursor. They got a lot more functionality in. What we're going to do for cursor is we're going to close the AI sidebar, close these ones, and do the same thing. I should have just let it run. That's right. Okay, I'm going to say, let's just let this run again. No, sorry. Play. There we go. All right, let that run. Let's just keep that running. Just nice. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a git. Oh, so he fixed it. So I'm going to just quickly add this change back in, because it did remove it from the UI. Okay, and then git reset, hit to see the changes, and let's take a look at what's different here. So it added an audio system. I don't hear any audio, to be perfectly honest with you. So I don't know why. Could be that's the wrong output system, but it doesn't matter. And it modified the game UI component, mostly here, for the pause screen. Oh, it changed the pause screen for me, did it? Interesting. Modified game.ts. That's and they modified game UI system. So so this is actually interesting. So if you look at this, it has a collection system, game state, which is about whether it's game over, etc., which is pretty nice. Heart movement, heart spawning, particle system, and player movement. I would say quite similar, right? So there's
if you compare this directly with what we're seeing here, I don't know why it only zooms into this corner. So you just have to bear with me. Or maybe I can just control. Yeah, just do it the old school way. So you can see here, there is a hard physics system, hard spawner, and player movement. And in Cursor's one, something fairly similar. It got a lot further along, but overall, pretty decent code. And yeah, I think just taking things away, Cursor definitely won this challenge, in my opinion. But I suspect that maybe I could have done something differently to help to prime agent mode, Copilot agent to do this better. Just let me know in the comments if you have any idea of how I could have made it more equal, or maybe I did something wrong. Like I said, I had a really good experience. I had a really good outcome with Copilot agent mode with building Breakout. This time I'm not building a clone of something. This is a completely original game based on the game design. So it could be that made a difference. So because I remember for Copilot, it added a lot of effects that I think the game of Breakout actually had. So maybe there was a lot more, maybe the model is able to do better when there's something known. Perhaps if I had primed it and used a reference game, I would have been a little bit better. But otherwise, I think that's it for this episode. So those are 2 games. Maybe we'll do another challenge like this in the next time.
And there you have it. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. I had a lot of fun making it. It was quite an exercise to look to the left and to the right and switch between the different windows, but I think the end result was pretty clear. If you have any other suggestions on how I could have done better in terms of making it fair for Cursor and Copilot on the same task, do let me know. I have been using Cursor a lot more than Copilot, so perhaps I missed a trick there. So I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to give it a like. Keep your comments coming in. It helps me to know what kind of content to do more of. And don't forget to subscribe for more great content in the coming weeks. See ya!